Robbie Savage, 3-0 tonight at Slimbridge. What did you make of the performance and what you wanted out of it?
Listen, the lads have had an unbelievable week. They've trained really hard. They've had dynamic sessions. The pre-season's been a little bit different this year. We've had the balls out from day one, lots of crossing, finishing, shooting, short, sharp possession games, and they've really enjoyed it. And we knew tonight coming here. I think we drew here 1-1 last season, but I just said, listen, you got 45 minutes. Have the weekend off because you worked so hard. Give me everything. And you can see in the first half the patterns that we played. You see my team. You see how dynamic we want to be and play forward. You can hear me shout on the sideline. I thought all the new boys were absolutely terrific. I thought Kenji, Mendy, Trey, Yaya, brilliant performances, but a special mention as well for young Will at the back. And Jose, I think, giving youngsters an opportunity as well on a difficult service. I thought they did exceptionally well. So you can see the way I want to take this squad. It might take a bit of time. Second half team also, fantastic. The pass from Charlie McCann. I thought Knowlesy, who hasn't played that many games latterly, thought he was outstanding. What I loved is, and what you'll see from my team, is if you lose the ball, sprint back, and he'd done that. He covered 30 or 40 yards to get goal side of his play, and that for me is the intensity my team needs to play at.
Sounds like you're learning the names. How difficult has all that been in the last couple of days?
I know them all. I know all. It's important. Listen, I knew a lot of them when I knew I was getting the job. Studied it, watched games. So again, I know all the names already. It's important. Listen, I'm the manager. It's important that you get to know individuals and a collective. And listen, they've embraced myself and John. I'm keeping Dan and Wayne on my staff already. I think there was an ability to bring another coach in, but already in the first 2 or 3 days I've said to Dan and to Wayne, I want you to stay, and they're going to stay. So my team's done in terms of the backroom staff. Gav, the kit man, all the staff, I can go through, and we've all really embraced it. And I just said, listen, we need to empower our players and give them a belief and a freedom. And I want to take risks in the forward areas, and I thought for 90 minutes we did that.
And as the players buy into what you want in training, and you want that exciting brand of football, do you also insist on smiles on faces?
That's the most important thing for me. Through 20 years of being a footballer myself, you have to do the tactical detail. Of course you do, because you can't leave any stone unturned. But when you come to work, any job you're in, you want to get out of bed in the morning and think, I can't wait to go to work. And when you leave, you want more. And I think the players this week have had that. You need to speak to them individually as a collective and ask them for themselves. But I believe already the culture we're trying to create is a happy culture, an environment where people want to thrive. We need people to embrace it. And I think what we've seen tonight is, Yaya, Mendy, Kengi and Trey have come, the three of them have come from step 3. And in the running this week, they've been all at the front of it. They've showed their power. They've showed how much they want it. And I think, we need players wanting to come here and be thankful that they're at Forest Green. And those 3 epitomise our performance. And I'm not just saying that because I've brought them from Macclesfield, but you've seen it for yourself. Kenji with a goal, Mendy controlling midfield, Trey at right back on a difficult service. So again, I was absolutely delighted. And we've seen Yaya's pace at times. I think there's room to bring a few more in, but all the lads can be proud of the week.
And how much does it help that actually they know each other, so they're not on their own coming into this group? I mean, people have always said it's been a welcoming group to come into anyway, but if you've got a couple of mates with you, that must be a help.
Yeah, of course it is. It's the first time they've been professional footballers, so again, they want it. And there's, when we agreed the fees, or got the deals done, they were so thankful and so grateful to be in a professional environment, unbelievable training ground. Again, I'm proud of their performance tonight. Listen, we've one friendly in, but you can see already the way I want my team to play with my staff. Listen, they can be proud of the week they've had. Tom, the sports and science S&C coach, has worked them hard, but in a good way. You don't have to do box to boxes and lengths of fields. You can use the ball and use it well and be dynamic, and they've done that.
No Luke McNicholas tonight. Where was he?
Luke McNicholas, he was here, but just back in training. think he recovered from a little groin strain, I think, when he was at Rochdale. I know he's been at Wrexham, but listen, he's Pag's done exceptionally well, and young Callum, Pags was terrific. As all the young boys were, Akai at right back, thought he was strong. Keon at left back, Jesse in middle of the park. So all the young boys can be proud of their performance, and they'll get opportunities with me. That's one thing. If they're good enough, they'll get an opportunity. And Jan, the academy manager, I think it was one of the first times he's been up to the new training ground. I got him in my office and had a good chat with him. I'll be good to watch youth team games, and see if they're ready. So everybody needs to embrace the culture at this football club, and if you'll get an opportunity if you're good enough.
You've got a week and a little bit before you go off to Germany. What's in store for the players next week?
Because they've worked so hard, I like to give them rewards. Listen, it's pre-season, they've hit their targets in numbers, so I'd like to, involve my coaching staff, and Tom has made with my input, as we decided to give them the weekend off, to be with their families, because next Saturday they'll be off, and then we travel to Germany on Sunday for 8 days, so they need to spend time with their family. They've had a tough week. Have a lovely weekend with your family, report lunchtime on Monday, have a difficult week, ending with a game against Buxton behind closed doors on Friday. Saturday off, and then to Germany, but it'll be another intense week. But you can see, you've seen the spring in the lads' steps. They're happy, they're in a good environment, and they know with me that I'm for them. I'm for them and for my staff, and whatever happens, they will have an environment where they can thrive in and enjoy. And listen, we've got to win games of football, I know that, but already you can see the way I want our team to play.
On that trip to Germany, does time away sort of help the group to bond even quicker?
It's a fantastic group. Listen, the group, a lot of them need an arm around them. I've worked that out quite quickly. But they've embraced the new lads. They're a great group. I can't, I'm sure when I start picking teams in the league, it might change a little bit. Listen, I've been a player. I've suffered disappointment. So the hardest thing for a manager and my staff is when you pick a team is how you deal with the ones who are left out. They're vitally important throughout the course of the season. And I've always said, squads win leagues. Teams don't, squads do. And if you can create a squad with help of Mark Boy and Asif and Dale, then I really believe, you've seen it. You've seen it tonight, that you have to be really fit and dynamic. I want to press, I want to play forward, I want to get after teams, and when we win the ball in the final third, be creative and try and score goals. I'm going to try and build a squad like that.